Welcome back to a brand new video of the targeted individual program, targeted individual experience. Uh, just trying to fix this mic stand. Anyhow, uh, interesting thing happened today. You know, they were gaslighting me, and I'm going to show you guys exactly uh, how they did it, what they're doing. But first, let's go to the website that I mentioned on one of the videos called psychologicalharassment.com. And this website is for targeted individuals. This website tells you part of the cognitive warfare that they will engage in with you, how they will attack you, some of the things that they will do to you, the psychological manipulation, the emotional manipulation, the gang stalking or the organized stalking, the use of law enforcement to engage in negative narratives, propaganda, and to try to label you however they want. Okay. So let's do a quick um, look at some of these things that this website talks about. Let's look at coercive mind control tactics. All right. So let me see this here. Um, Coercion is defined by the American Heritage Dictionary as one, to force to act, to think in a certain manner, to dominate, restrain, or control by force, to bring about by force. Coercive psychological systems are behavioral change programs which use psychological force in a coercive way to cause the learning and adaptation of an ideology or designated set of beliefs, ideas, attitudes, or behavior. The central strategy used by the operators of these programs is to systematically select, sequence, and coordinate many different types of coercive influence, anxiety, and stress producing tactics over continuous period of time. In such a program, the subject is forced to adapt in a series of tiny, invisible steps. Each tiny steps is designed to be significantly small so that the subjects will not notice the changes in themselves or identify the coercive nature of the processes being used. The subject of these tactics do not become aware of the hidden organizational purpose of the coercive of the coercive psychological program until much later, if ever. These tactics are usually applied in a group setting. Okay, I'm not going to say by well intended. All right. So it's applied in a group setting. Okay. Its purpose is intentional to deceive. I'm just putting that in there. To deceive the victim. Okay. They will deceive and manipulate so called friends and allies, family members to engage in these tactics against you as a TI. So this keeps the victim from putting up the ego defense we normally maintain in known adversarial situation. The coercive psychological influence of these programs aim to overcome the individual critical thinking abilities and free will apart from any appeal to informed judgment. Victims gradually lose the ability to make independent decisions and exercise informed consent. Their critical thinking, defenses, cognitive processes, values, ideas, attitudes, conduct, and ability to reason are undermined by a technological process rather than by meaningful free choice, rationality, or the inherent merit or value of the ideas or propositions being presented. So how do they work? Right? And there are seven main categories. Tactic one, increase suggestibility, which is putting the victim through extensive audio, visual, verbal, tactile fixation drill, right? Use of excessive, exact routine repetitions, repetition of routine activities, sleep restriction, and or nutritional restrictions. Tactics two, establish control over the person's social environment, time, and source of social support by a system of often excessive rewards and punishment, social isolation, right? Then a contact with family and friends is a bridge, as is contact with persons who do not share group approved attitudes. Economics and other dependence on the group is fostered. What the government have done, particularly to black women, right, in use of the welfare system, and now using the job markets and uh, these employment companies, right? Tactic three prohibits disconfirming information, right? So again, when people are telling you the truth, right, or they don't want you to speak to certain people because they know the truth and they don't want you to be exposed to the truth, right? They will engage in manipulating that individual or even you as a TI to not want to speak or listen to that person, right? So again, this is here is talking about like in a cult, these types of sort of group sanctioned uh, communication. All right, so it says prohibit disconfirming information and non-supporting opinions in group communication. Rules exist about permissible topics to discuss with outsiders. Communication is highly controlled, and in-depth language is usually constructed. So in-group language, let's put that for us as TIs. Again, using remote load monitoring, using surveillance to condition you with certain words. Right. So, for example, I talk about you know um, certain words that and I have a list of them, a long list uh, that if you say it or someone else is saying it, let's say you're watching a video, you listen to a song, you reading a book, um, they will use their car horn or the sirens, right? The police sirens. Okay. And it's only the police sirens or a car horn. In other instances where they will use fire trucks or ambulance, when it comes to specific words, they will use car horn or police sirens. Okay. Um, tactic three, tactic four. Make the person reevaluate the most central aspect of his or her experience of self and prior conduct in negative ways. Again, let's talk about this for a minute. So, as a TI, as a victim of non consensual human experimentation, how do they get away with microchipping you, right? And they do it by covert psychological manipulation, covert drugging, use of honey trap, use of poisoning in order to traumatize you, okay? And also the use of direct energy weapons, right? That way, no one sees the invisible hands, the covert operation that's being done to change your personality, okay? That is how they have been getting away with this. This is government sanctioned. This is a government program. Make no mistake about that. All right. they have to have test subjects within the society in order to engage in experimenting on human beings in ways to control the entire population or a population or a group of people. Okay. And to take down those who they deem to be a possible threat. Right. So any like a black person, the FBI coined up a program, right, looking for black messiahs, identifying young black men and women with leadership quality who love themselves and black people, to isolate them, to set them up, to remove them out of society so that they won't influence the brainwashed zombie sheeps, the Negropeans. Okay? Efforts are designed to destabilize and undermine the subject's basic consciousness. So, look at this. Again, in the beginning, it says to make the person reevaluate the most central aspect of his or her experience of self and prior conduct in negative ways. But yet, they will destabilize and undermine that same person, their reality, and their awareness. Right? See, this is not about trying to save someone or correct somebody's way of thinking, uh, you know, or behavior. It's about control. It's about knowing what they are doing and preventing people who are aware, who are conscious, who understand the reality, and who could be possible leader or leaders, male or female, within the black community, right? And then using that person and using the people around that person in ways that they can never comprehend because the people around you are believers. You know nothing about technology, nothing about what the government is doing. Matter of fact, if you ever see a black person that tells you that racism doesn't exist, keep away from that person. If you see a black person that only talks about Jesus, keep away from that person. Or any group of person or people that hawk on Jesus, or any religion, keep away from them. Except for the nation of Islam, right? Because as a black person, I know that that organization love black people and continue to fight for that for black people. I don't know about any other um, Islamic uh, organization, but I know there's hardly any Christian organization that has made more impact on black people's lives and positive impact than the Nation of Islam. Okay, so people could use religion to do good, but the majority don't. All right, tactic five. Um, okay, I finished reading this. Let me read this again. So efforts are designed to destabilize and undermine the subject's basic consciousness, reality, awareness, worldview, emotional control, and defense mechanism. The subject is guided to reinterpret his or her life history and adopt a new version of cause, causality. Causality. Okay. um, Tactic five, create a sense of powerlessness by subjecting the person to intense and frequent action and situations which undermines the person's confidence in himself or herself and his or her judgment. So again, it's a constant undermining of who you are as a person. Tactic six, create strong aversive emotional arousal in the subject by use of non physical punishment such as intense humiliation, loss of privileges, social isolation, social status change, intense guilt, anxiety, manipulation, and other techniques. Tactic 7, intimidate the person with the force of group sanctioned secular psychological threats. Okay, so you guys can read all that. I'm not going to read it. Um, it said these tactics are of psychological force are applied in such a severe degree that the individual capability to make informed and free choice become inhibited. Right, the victim become unable to make the normal wise or balanced decisions, which they most likely or normally would have made had they not been unknowingly manipulated by these coordinated technical processes. The cumulative effect of the processes can be an even more effective form of undue influence than pain, torture, drugs, or the use of physical force or physical and legal threats. All right, you guys can read the rest of this. So I want to take you to another section, which is let's see, come up here. Psychological manipulation, I think. Let's see if I can find it. There you go. Psychological manipulation. Okay. Few things. Conditioning of your mind, positive or negatively. Okay. A tactic often used is to constantly interpret or expose the victim to negativity. In some cases, it's used to induce or can lead to depression, right? Linked to self-esteem and or self-worth. Dark sarcasm and negativity. Um, Obviously, corruption and the intentional cause of hardship can lead to dark sarcasm and negativity, which is linked to depression and suicide. It can also be linked to a pattern and steps that lead to homelessness. So, when I talk about my targeting and seeing it on a much broader scale, seeing that the same thing is being done to the very same people, particularly black people, I'm talking about, my people, when I know that the same thing is being done to them. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? Conditioning your mind happy, act happy. I'm not going to get into that here. Constant state of interrogation, indirect communication, and psychological disorders. Ivan Pavlov. The group can begin by saying the individual's name, specific words, different sound, and use other distracting actions to attract the individual attention. The targeted individual realize that the group is using some form of harassment and begin to listen to the group around them. So basically, it's like when you have a conversation in your home or you're on the phone and you go outside and people will repeat part of the conversation you just had. Used to happen a lot. And this is to do what? He says this tactic is also used to induce paranoia. Okay? Right? The constant state of interrogation, unfinished ambiguities, frustration, and negative conditioning. Right? The constant state of interrogation tactics involve constant distraction and indirect questions, and this can be combined with unfinished ambiguities. For example, his work is such and such. Just as when I was working, I used to try to, um, say I didn't, uh, put jobs on the server, which I did, and I used to record it just to prove it, and then they stopped. Right. So without me recording what I've done, showing it to my manager, you know, and this is what they do. They get people at your job to to, to engage in such behavior, to lie, to manipulate you to get you fired. Okay. Talk about the hidden sounds and fear condition. When I show you guys on videos, upstairs neighbor constantly dropping stuff, knocking on the floor above me. Sometimes 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, keep me up. Right? Trigger words. Again, like the word nigger coming out of a white person's mouth. Black people will just go off. Then they call the cops and get you arrested. White people are smart. They know how to manipulate us. Understand their psychological mindset. Okay. Rejection, right? And lower self esteem as such. Um, you guys can go read this, but I just wanted to share this with you guys so you guys can understand. Again, certain degrading themes, right? The pedophilia weapon. It'll try to engage in what is called uh, the power perception, or they may drug you. They may use underage boys and girls, right? And drug you, manipulating you, using silent sound. You gotta look out when you have intrusive thoughts. Learn how to identify them and change your way of thinking. Okay. Degrading theme, attack patterns to put the victim on the psychological defensive. Right? Psychological construction barriers, restrictions, and catch 22. What they do to the perps. They've done it to you too. Deception to prevent exposure, torture, and false confession pretense. Right? This is the false pretense, the psychological manipulation of the pretense or deception of wanting a false confession, the threat of wanting false or pretense of wanting false confession to prevent exposure. They don't want to be exposed, so they have to try to set you up. Maybe maybe they did set you up. Okay? Maybe not. Maybe they're trying to continue to try. This again, like I said, you are the proof, you are the evidence of what it is they've been doing. So they have to try to get rid of you. Particularly if you try to expose what it is that they're doing and they did to you and others. Okay? Subtle attack, hidden, doubtful, uncertain, and psychological defenses. Right? Verbal dialogue to shut down your brain. Okay? Anger makes you powerful and stronger. Well, for me, they used to try to use money. I talked about this. When I would you know, get like loud with people because they were talking to me. Afterwards, they'll send somebody to walk in front of me or stand in front of me, take out a stack of cash and start counting it. Okay. Anyhow, you guys can go to this website. It is a very, very important website for TIs, and not just for TIs, but I recommend those in the general public read what's on this website. It's important. It can save your loved ones. It can save your friends. It can even save yourself. Okay. Right. So let's get to the first video. Welcome back. So anyhow, I'm early. Target individual program, target individual experience. So the New York Predator Department, the FBI, or the CIA, whichever one of them, working hand in hand, trying to play good cop, bad cop, trying to manipulate me. Coming down the elevator, I'm singing, humming the song Mariah Carey, Why You So Obsessed With Me. All right, and again, they do this a lot. What they'll do and what they'll engage in is look at the perp right there, all dressed in all black. All right, and again, they do this a lot. So he takes his phone, and what they'll do and what they'll engage in is not seeing anything.
certain words, right?
Yeah.
So words like why and like when I said why you said I said why you use the car horn. Anyway, getting down the elevator, the elevator is a green light on the inside when the elevator's going up. So came down to the first floor and looked up at the light, right? It's an arrow. And the New York Predator Department again using their sirens. So again, this is the remote neural monitoring. This is the hijacking of my consciousness, of my conscious mind, to engage in this sort of, this sort of threats, right?
And it's control. Okay, and it's control. Control your mind.
Remember, I talked about the color green and what they does do and how they does engage in such tactics, right? And the fact that they microchip me, the fact that even before that, before microchipping me, they were engaging in covert psychological operations, covert warfare against me, as well as using silent sound, right? So remember, I talked about this in 2000, February 2000, end of January actually. Yeah, so the end of January, my son was not even a year old yet.
Actually, it was 2000. My son was born 2001. It was January 2002, I think. Right?
And I was in Caribbean island. You're looking at the silver, the green, and I'm on the beach, and my inner voice says, "Look up." And as I looked up, a dude in a gray vehicle, gray SUV, stopped his vehicle in the middle of the road, got out and left the vehicle there and just walked off.
Now, why did they did that? They did that to let me know what they had been doing to me. All right. And just in case they set me up to where either I die or end up being institutionalized, whether it be in a mental institution or in prison, I will always know that it was the U.S. government that did this, but no one would believe me. No one would um, look into my story. And again, they do this to people who they know don't have money to fight them in such a way that it will expose them. Okay. Now, again, this is how they get away with this stuff. There are a lot of people, particularly black people and some white people, but more black people than anybody else that they've been doing this to. And again, it's not taken away from any other group of people who are TIs. But you look at the history, particularly here in the United States, and how this government, past and present, treats black people, how the financial industries, the health industry, hospitals, educational system, how they treat black people. And I was talking about Jane Elliott, and she said to white people in the audience, how many of you would like to be treated like black people? And no one raised their hand. It's because they know, right? Don't ever think, if you're a black person, a black TI, don't ever think that these white people don't know what it is that they've been doing to you. They know. And those that don't know are the ones that they don't want to tell. Okay? Because they will probably uh, expose them also.
All right. So again, when I say these things, the reason why they do this is because people find it hard to understand, right? Because again, lack of knowledge that the United States government have been engaging in non-consensual human experimentation, and they continue to engage in that. And the new way in which they try to get away with it is using radio wave or microwave frequency weapons, as well as covert illegal drugging and honey trapping, in order to silence you from coming forward and speaking about their non-consensual human experimentation. All right? I gotta get something to drink. Look at her standing.
Okay, so yeah. So she was waiting for me, right? And again, when you talk about how they study your habits, they have you under surveillance. So when I was actually making the bakes, which I didn't get to do last night, and it's family game night at the Boys and Girls. So my daughter was telling me yesterday it's between 4 to 6. She's been telling me for the past couple of days. Don't forget the family game night, 4 to 6 at the Boys and Girls. Even when I went there today to drop her off, I asked and Michelle, I said it's 4 to 6, right? She shake her head. But anyhow, I'll save this part later. But she was waiting for me. Okay. When she sees me, she goes to the counter, pays for her whatever she has in her hand. Then I follow to pay for my bought sodas, one for me and Alyssa. She didn't leave the store. She literally went back to the same spot that she had, and then I guess picked up something else. But I'm like, she was standing there. If it wasn't for me having my phone recording, right? Again, this is how sometimes they will adjust. Particularly, they saying to themselves, "Oh, he's going to turn off his phone. All right, he's going to pause the video." But I didn't. I kept recording because I saw her. Right, I saw her, and so I didn't because I was about to though.
So this is walking stuff. Why? Because I'm carrying a snack with me to the boys and girls. That's why. See, they know. They know. All right, 1 second. All right. So I go into the look at the perp.
So what they'll do now, instead of counting money in front of me, they will send perps with a, a an item in their hand that's green, right? Again, this is just another um, way of masking what they've done. See, they condition you, and once the conditioning is set in, right, through repetition, okay, now, and again, using color psychology, they can engage in other form of subliminal message or harassment.
They're holding a green piece of cloth in his hands. Look, like actually pulling our hair yawning. Right?
I remember too. A lot of times when they're targeting you, it's a group of them. So while one is doing something or not doing something, one might be wearing a certain color or have a certain color in their hand or have you. There'll be somebody else either sticking their fingers in their ears, tapping their nose, that sort of thing, or putting their hands over their mouth.
That's what they do. Okay. Yeah, they give her the middle finger. Yeah. Sad look on her face. Tell you, whenever they try to attack, that's what
I gave her the middle finger. She looked away.
I do. You tell you, I was built for this. All right, they God sent me to expose their evilness and their wicked ways. All right.
Hey, they believe in their God, right?
What did their God say to Cyrus the great king of Babylon? He said, "You are my Messiah. You are my champion." Right? Jesus said, "No, the Messiah that God anointed." Okay. Cyrus the Great. Go into the Old Testament. God said, "You are my Messiah, you are my champion." And God has sent me to expose them. Expose them.
Yeah, but I'm too slow. I might be slow, right? But what I do remember are the important things. Okay? What did I do?
All right, welcome back to.
Let's go back here. Where's that
All
right here?
right. What did their God? Cyrus the Great. Go into the Old Testament. God said, "You are my Messiah, you are my champion." And God has sent me to expose them. Expose them, and expose them I will. All right, anyhow. So Nigerians don't even understand the religion they claim to believe in. All right, their pastor keep preaching the same old sermons from the slave religion, the slave Bible, I should say. The same sermons from the slave Bible, nothing else. Nothing has changed because it has worked for over 300 years, the indoctrination of the Nigerian mind. And they are, some of them are the most ignorant people walking on this planet. Without a knowledge of history, without a knowledge of self, only having the European mindset in which...
What did I read in the psychological manipulation section on the website psychologicalharassment.com using conversational words, right? Certain things being said, certain words being said. Just listen very carefully. Go back and listen. Let me see if I can go back a little bit.
Mindset in which the slave Bible, I should say. The same sermons from the slave Bible, nothing else. Nothing has changed because it has worked for over 300 years, the indoctrination of the Nigerian mind. And they are, some of them are the most ignorant people walking on this planet. Without a knowledge of history, without a knowledge of self, only having the European mindset in which they have no self-love and no love for each other.
Now, oh, hear the sirens? Now you notice how she stopped as soon as she passed me. Sirens outside.
So you can get them to engage in criminal activities and say to them that they're God's warriors. That's all you got to say for them to be roped in and hooked into the criminal lifestyle that they engage in. All right? I understand what it is that they do. I almost forgot to. So the woman in the store, same woman I walked into the store, you know, she got in front of me, she paid for her items. And then I'm like, okay, we'll see what she's going to do. So she stood there waiting. And after I paid for mine, she grabbed another item and paid for it. I'm like, this woman been standing in the store now. That's what they do. Again, talk about surveillance. They know that, you know, I brought snacks and I didn't bring any juice, so of course I got to go to the store. I don't go to that one because my daughter got food poisoning from there. So again, it's all about intel and the use of technology, and then spiritual and supernatural about it. Because when you understand what it is that you're dealing with, and you're not dealing with anything supernatural. Okay?
That's right. Okay. If you read the Robert J. Lipton, the 8 criteria of thought reform, you'll see how it'll explain how they engage in what is called mystical manipulation, supernatural manipulation. There's nothing supernatural going on. What they do is engage in tactics and methods, okay, in order to make you believe that it's supernatural, that it's mystical. Okay. Or just think about this. Go and look at The Wizard of Oz. I'll be a perfect example. It's the best movie you can watch to let you know that that is men behind a lot of these things that y'all claim to be supernatural. Okay.
Right? I'm early. But they told me 4 to 6. My daughter keeps telling me 4 to 6. Well, that's part of the gaslighting. Yeah, buddy. I know. Yeah, look at him. Look at him.
So he gets out of the the truck, and look where he parks the truck. Right? Look at where he parks the truck. Again, creating a dangerous situation. Right? Because again, you have to walk into the street in order to cross over to the other side of the street, the intersection. But again, it's the whole blocking theme, right? The whole blocking theme. All right. Now let's see if I can zoom in so you guys.
Look at it, look, take his keys. Look, look.
So you stand there again, just like the woman in the store. He gets out of the truck, closes the door, stands there. Now there's no alarm on his, to lock the truck door. They don't have that. But again, it's that threat, right? It's that threat. That's what it is. About them having keys to the apartment, to my bedroom, and they can come in when I'm sleeping or what have you. Like I said, don't be cowards. Don't come in when I'm sleeping. Come in when I'm awake. Right? You got guns and badges. Don't be cowards. Or else find a new line of work.
Look, 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 I know. Organized stalking, bunch of criminals.
And
Organized.
then he looks back at the tire of the truck. All right.
Take his keys. Look, 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 I know. Organized stalking, bunch of criminals.
Let's get into it.
But they told me 4 to 6. My daughter keeps telling me 4 to 6. Well, that's part of the gaslighting. Yeah, buddy, I know. Yeah, look at him, look at him, look at him. Look, take his keys. Look, 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 I know.
Look at the That's the perp.
Organized stalking, bunch of criminals. Organized stalking. Takes his key out. Yeah, looking at my hat. Yeah, well, I got a green hat on. Like I said, everything I look at that's green, they start using the sirens again, right? They have me on the remote no monitoring. I know what it is that they do. Like I said, they're not getting away with it. They can try, but I'm not going to let them. Let the nigger peons play around and be stupid. All right, let the nigger peons play around and they're stupid. When their children, their daughter become conscious and want to be leaders, they're going to be taken down too. So let them be conscious. Let them be not conscious, but let them be religious and ignorant and stupid. Right? They don't understand how the white supremacists using them to destroy the leadership within their community. Right? Nigger peons.
See the theme? People just standing there, right? So this dude was walking, and all of a sudden he stops, just stand there.
To destroy the leadership within their community. Right? Nigger peons. Looking for a perfect leader like their Jesus. Meanwhile, white people will elect a pedophile, a rapist, a crook into the highest office of the presidency. And not once, but twice. But nigger peons looking for Jesus.
Not also that too, but you also had a Florida senator accused of having an inappropriate relationship with an underage child. Okay, white people ain't saying shit. Ain't demanding he leaves. As a matter of fact, Trump just made him his nominee for attorney general. Right? So imagine this man is going to be, if he's going to be attorney general, oh, it's going to be free reign for those pedophiles.
Tell you, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Right? Make it make sense. Nigger peons looking for Jesus. All right? Oh, he can't become president. He was arrested. He can't. Do you know how many white congressmen and congresswomen been arrested? Look, George W. Bush arrested as a young man for what? Drunk driving.
Yep. And he became president. But not a black man, though. A black man don't need to have one blemish. Okay? Nigger appearance, we all talking about, oh, he's a criminal, he's a criminal. Like, as a black person, I don't view black people as criminals, no matter what they do. Okay, I blame white supremacy, and that's appropriate.
right? But nigga peons searching and looking for perfection, gaslighting me and doing all this shit like you grabbing this cross. Yeah, fuck you, buddy. You looking at the blue car. All, look, another blue car, same color. That's the third one. That's across the street. When I was going to the Boys and Girls, there was one that pulled up right in front of
Let me go back to this because they were. There was one. Let's see. Um, across the street.
me. The new way in which they try to get away with it is using radio wave on my.
Okay, I would that. That's it. I just want to show you guys. Okay. Now the use of the weaponized color psychology. Okay, I went into the store here. Let's go back. All right. I think I might have. Let's see. I know I saw it. Was it the truck? Let's see. As I want to see when I'm walking across the street. Yeah, let me do that. Let's see, was it the truck? Said the word truck. They use the sirens. Yeah, truck. It's a dark blue. Oh no, here it is. That's what it was. Was that vehicle right there? Let me back slightly. Come on. And again, I want you to understand to see it as soon as I'm about to walk across over. Watch. Walk in. All right. I step back. Right. Boom. There you go. Soon as I'm just as how you saw in this video. Let's go back to the other video. Okay. Yeah, there. Right.
But nigga peons searching and looking for perfection, gaslighting me and doing all this shit like you grabbing this cross. Yeah, fuck you, buddy. You looking at
Look, see? Turns right in front of me. So this is at all both three corners.
the blue car. All, look, another blue.
And then as I turn, same color. There you go. Like I said, man, I was saying, I said I must have thrown a monkey wrench in their plans, uh, because they were using the sirens, and you guys are gonna hear. You're gonna hear. How you? edit a video real time in OBS. Yeah, that says real time. Yeah, the car honk. Yeah, what's happened to me is real. Okay.
Same color. That's the third one. That's across the street. When I was going to the Boys and Girls, there was one that pulled up right in front of me. So again, let you guys know. Yeah, I'm observing. I see it. I see what they do. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Grabbing his crotch. Yeah, okay. They want me to stay. They don't want me to go. Remember, coercive persuasion program. Go look it up. What is a coercive persuasion program? Go to www.psychologicalharassment.com. Go to the section. It talks about coercive persuasion, and you'll understand and you'll see why. So yeah.
So he got to run everything past his mom.
Like I said, they will scheme and come back, but I'm always ready. I am always ready. So, again, the gaslighting continues. Right? I love that I can show you guys exactly what it is they do, how they gaslight me. Right? There, I went in there early today. They told me 4 to 6. My daughter been telling me 4 to 6, even yesterday. So what they do is that they play, again, on my memory. And the things that I do remember, they will engage in gaslighting. Okay, so yeah. So why did they do that? Why did they do that? Why they gaslighting? Why? Huh? Why they change it? Why they change it? And they just told me 6.
I didn't even see that. And I want you guys to see the pattern.
It was that they play, again, on my memory. And the things that I do remember, they will engage in gaslighting. Okay, so yeah.
Look.
So why did they?
There you go. The same.
Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Why they gaslighting? Why? Huh? Why they change it? Why they change it? And they just told me 6 o'clock, right? They didn't even say 6 to what time it is? 6 to 8? What is it? 6 to 9? You know what I'm saying? Why? Because again, their way of trying to keep me over here. It's not gonna work though.
Again, I want you to understand this. They want me to play house. That's what is that they want. And you know, Pam, you know, they've manipulated her so much. You know, even though she knows Christianity is bullshit. You know, all of her friends are Christians, so she gotta, you know, want to keep her friends, right? Because one thing Christian will do when you no longer believe in their bullshit religion, right? They will ostracize you, right? They will ignore you. They will isolate you because again, it is a conditioning that is built into their subconscious mind. Keep saying that the Jesus you worship is the devil that you're talking about. Go to your Bible. I have not come to bring peace. I've come with a sword. I've come to set this world on fire. Okay, I've come to divide. I've come to turn mothers against daughters, fathers against sons, brothers against sisters. That's your Jesus. Okay? It's not the devil. You've been saying, oh, the devil is a divider. Your Jesus is a divider. And if you have to follow me, this is what Jesus said, that you will have to give up everything. Okay? And when you give up everything, where does that leave you? Loneliness. Do you know what isolation does to the human mind? Do you know what loneliness does to a person? Go look it up.
It is not going to work. that's what the UPS guy took out his keys. I always talk about this, right? That shit don't work though. It ain't gonna work. right? It ain't gonna work. Yep, that's what they do.
And also, you know, I think I'm beginning to realize that they might have microchipped me even earlier. Because again, when I was on that in the Caribbean, and that inner voice said, "Look up." This was way before I realized that I was being targeted. Okay, so yeah, sometimes the reason why they'll play on your memory in terms of saying, well, if we remember things or she remember things, then we have not neurologically damaged that individual. It is a way of them to try to manipulate you into not remembering things. Okay, now there's certain things I just don't remember. Should I could put something right in front of me and walk away, come back looking for it, forgot where I put it. It'll be right here staring at me in my face, right? I can't see it. That is the neurological damage as well as the psychological damage. So, like I said, if I remember things, I remember it. I don't need to act or pretend. They have to, not me.
Why? In order to try to look, KKB 773 blue vehicle. Look at that shit. Look at that. Look at that. Wait, I'm gonna show you guys. All right, look. See, I know them. See, I know. Okay. Oh, you hear the sirens now? You hear the sirens? You hear the sirens? Look. KKB 7732. Right? There you go. You hear the sirens? The sirens will follow, but always follow afterwards.
They will always find perps or people who they can turn into perps to engage in the cognitive warfare and neurocognitive warfare.
It's a state-sponsored terrorism. The state engaging in the suppression of those they deem to be a threat. Of course, white supremacy, we know that. The state poison our children every year. Again, look at Niger, what they've been doing, and the fact that these Negropeans, knowing the history and knowing the facts, they're still engaging in this shit, right? But that's how powerful cognitive warfare is. For those of us who understand it, for those who don't,
Total control of a person's mind or population mind by way of manipulation, by way of weapons created to manipulate our minds, to control us, and by religion. Okay,
they become part of the criminal enterprise. They become part of white supremacy. I'm talking about black people, right? We become part of white supremacy. We are white supremacists, particularly if you're a Christian, if you're a black Christian, particularly if you follow this form of Christianity. You know, they don't even go to say, hey, let me go study what the early people who call themselves Christians believe, right? This religion that they got was created from the King James version. When King James created his own version, right? So, anyhow, like I said, they'll always tell you what they're going to do to you. These psychopaths and sociopaths, the dark triads. Well, I'm always telling them that I'm going to expose them, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, talk to you guys in the next video.
all right. So that was what happened today. You know, love to share these things with you guys. Love to expose what it is that they're doing. I tell you, whenever they attack me like this, it just give me more purpose. Right? They, you know, that fire burns brighter. Okay, and you know, the light of truth will always shine true. Talk to you guys on the next video.